Hello, and welcome to the Spiritualist Circle of Light. This is our dream class. Just to give you an idea of what will be taking place, our discussions will be based on articles and books. Articles will typically come from peer-reviewed journals, and we will also go through some of the books on dreams, and we'll have a meditation. And then after the meditation, we will interpret dreams. And then when we close the class, there will be messages. Now, not all of this will be on the recorded versions. What will be recorded for you to view will be the discussions and the talk. So, as we begin, there are a variety of ideas about what dreams are. Many of us are told they are fantasies and to be dismissed. The dreams that we have, they're just a fantasy. It's nothing to worry about. But there are others who disagree. Some say that dreams are the noise the brain makes while it's doing its homework, which makes us think, just exactly what kind of homework could the brain be doing? Well, think about you doing homework. What kind of homework would you do? Most of us might research information. We may contemplate problems, looking for solutions. We may have to complete unfinished work. Homework comes to be a variety of things. But other theories along with this is that dreams allow us to practice survival skills. What kind of survival skills can we practice in our dreams? Well, survival takes on a lot of guises. When we think of survival skills, we may go to Darwin's survival of the fittest. And it's not, that's an oversimplification of survival. Survival exists on many levels. For instance, for ourselves, survival includes our self-esteem, how we think about ourselves, how we feel others perceive us. These are survival skills that we would practice. Other skills, well, let's go back to the self-esteem. Self-esteem as a survival skill. Why is it a survival skill? Well, we need to feel like we're worth something. If we see ourselves as part of the background, part of this, well, what happens? We feel insignificant. And when we feel insignificant, our self-worth plummets. So part of the dreaming process, as far as practicing survival skills, would be what we could do to improve our self-esteem, to improve how we feel about ourselves. Other skills that we could practice that directly relate to survival is the need to belong. Being by ourselves, isolated, marginalized, it's unnatural. We are a socializing species. We prefer to be around others. Maybe not in groups or crowds, but we prefer to be around others. So in order to do that, we have to learn to get along. So survival skills that we could practice in our dreams would be how to fit in with our social circles, our cliques. So, what other survival skills could we practice in our dreams? What other survival skills are there that would pertain to us? So, dreams may also aid us in the visualization and recognition of danger. Antti, and I'm sure I'm butchering this pronunciation, Antti Revonso, a Finnish psychologist, suggests that the brain scans for strong negative emotional charges and reviews the events tied to them. So let's look at these strong negative charges. What would these be? Well, frustration, irritation, anger, fear. These are strong emotional charges. And the brain automatically scans for these. Now, in our dreams, we would be scanning for these to, again, comes back to the practice of survival skills. Let's say we loud noises frighten us. Well, let's take this a little bit further. Not only loud noises, but people yelling at us. We react in a sort of cringe. This is one of the survival skills, the recognition of danger. Someone yells, we know that it's something to we prepare ourselves for. Another instance would be people tend to yell before they hit. People get angry, they yell, they act impulsively. So what happens with that? Okay, if we train the brain to recognize this, to associate yelling with danger, with violence, with anger, we're going to recognize that, and our dreams help us to recognize that as it builds before it gets to the point where it becomes a danger, which allows us to react before we get to that point. Now, fear. The brain can associate the sensation of fear with specific cues, with specific actions. Again, with the loud noises, the yelling. Okay, someone yells, we associate it with violence. Fear is triggered with that. So, in the response for that, you've got the classic fight or flight. Well, fear tends to freeze us. We become frozen with fear. And when that happens, then we are in danger. So if we can recognize the fear and then act in a positive way, which would be to retreat, then we would be learning this in our dreams. So some of the events that we might review in our dreams that would help us with these cues would be the argument we had earlier in the day with a spouse, a loved one, a friend, a boss, anything like that, a near miss accident on the way home. It gets the adrenaline rushing, and then there's that afterwards, as we begin to relax, there's that fear sensation. Other events that we may review would be the death of a loved one, or even a visitation, the funeral of a loved one can trigger these things. So researchers also suggest that our dreams are tied to emotions, specifically fear, anger, anxiety, elation. So fear, can be, well, let's back up again here. Researchers suggest our dreams are tied to our emotions, specifically fear, anger, anxiety, and elation. So, which of these emotions that I named may be considered a positive emotion? Here's a good question. Can fear be a positive emotion? We always see fear as negative. Fear as a positive emotion can demonstrate our lack of information. Because when we know something, we're no longer afraid. The only time we're afraid is of the unknown. So when we know something, that fear would dissipate. So we could review in our dream state an event that happened earlier in the week, earlier in the day, earlier in the month that triggered this fear response. And as it works its way through the brain for processing, it comes through. We may not see the exact event play out before us, but we recognize the event, even though the characters and the content may be different, we recognize the event. And through that recognition, we can see what it is that we were lacking in the way of information. So fear can be positive. So what about anger? We always say anger is a negative emotion. We get, but can anger be positive? Anger can be a positive emotion if we channel the energy correctly. Now, an event that may have triggered anger within us. You have a day, nothing seems to go right. Anything that can go wrong is going wrong. So that anger can build, that frustration can build in us. And we become tense. And through the dream state, we recognize these events. They're little things, just little things that can trigger it. Especially if, like I said, we wake up, we're having a bad day, everything that can go wrong does go wrong. So the little events can trigger frustration and anger. And even though we build it up inside, we can use this energy to find solutions. In the dream state, we can use that energy to find solutions, to see solutions. So anger can be a positive. Doesn't always have to be a negative, but it's a strong emotion. Fear is a strong emotion. Anxiety is a strong emotion. When I am attending one of the Independent Spiritualist Association meetings and I'm scheduled to speak the next day, I can't sleep. I'm up till 2, 3, sometimes 4 in the morning. And I have to get up at 7 or 8. And it's that anxiety that's keeping me up. It's not necessarily that it's a bad emotion. It's simply there. It's just there. And how can this be resolved in the dreaming state? Again, we experience these emotions. The energy is in the body. The body holds on to it. So because we hold on to that anxiety because we don't know what to do with it, in our dream state, that anxiety can dissipate in the images. We see the images. We react in the same fashion to these images as we would while we are awake, typically. Not all the time, but typically. And then we have elation. Elation is joy, excitement, elated. My award at the, again, Independent Spiritualist Association, ISA, their annual meeting. I was presented with the Spiritualist of the Year award, and I was elated that it was shock. Elation is like a shock. And again, that energy gets caught in the body. It's got to go somewhere. So sometimes that energy is released at night in our dreams. Now, all of these are strong emotions. So what is this telling us here? It's telling us that emotions are key in our dreams. When we are dreaming, if we seek to interpret dreams, we want to pay attention to the emotion. The emotion is going to be the focal point. It's what drives the dreams, our emotions, the strong emotions are what our dreams bring up. It's what we react to, the strong emotions. So the question becomes, why would we be keyed to emotions? We generate energy. Energy is generated through emotions. Anger, fear, anxiety, elation, these are all very strong, very powerful emotions. These emotions have a tendency to influence our actions very quickly. They may cause us to act impulsively. People who are not in control of their emotions, when they experience fear, anger, anxiety, elation, they act impulsively because they do not know how to channel that information, how to direct that energy in a fashion that is beneficial. We tend to strike out in fear. We tend to strike out in anger. We tend to strike out in anxiety when we're feeling anxious. And we tend to strike out when we are feeling intense joy or intense pleasure. We act impulsively. So this is why it's important not to necessarily control your emotions, but to direct the energy of these emotions so that they act in a fashion that helps us, so that we act in a fashion that is beneficial. And as we practice this behavior in dreams, remember, practicing, no, not practicing survival skills, but homework the brain makes. We practice directing this energy due to these emotions. We can do this in our dreams. And this is part of the dreaming process. Something to keep in mind about the realities that we move through. The dream reality and our waking reality are both powered by our emotions. While in the common reality of which we are, we have some measure of control over them. Typically, we hold them in. We block their expression. And it's during the dream time that those emotions that we blocked sometimes come out. Becoming aware of our emotions in the common world and in the dream world serve the same purpose. They work as a release, a form of release for the dreams that we may be experiencing, or the realities that we are experiencing. And through that, we are able to allow the energy from the dreams, instead of doing this in our waking and dreaming states, they become more like this, more harmonious. I don't want to say even or balanced, because balance is a misconception, but they become more harmonious. So again, if you have any dreams that you would like interpreted, you may contact us through our Facebook page and through Messenger. You may also drop us an email. If you find any of this beneficial, please leave some seeds for us, because the seeds you leave allow us to leave seeds with others. It is a time of growth and growing. So we thank you for visiting with us. We thank you for allowing us to share, and we look forward to greeting you again.